All right, welcome to another lesson. This is lesson 68 for the H Radio 223 part-timers. I'm going to say welcome to another week. And this week I'm going to put up two lessons because I am a little bit ahead and just so that I don't finish too soon for this semester. Just again, in terms of I know I did say that I wasn't before going to do a recording on the Summit of One. I will do the recording for you as well, but I am going to cover it in class. With you because it's really important that you do obviously well. I mean, that's without like that goes without saying. But more so that you can genuinely, once again, I'm going to reiterate this, that you can ask questions and there is no confusion. And once again, I'm hoping to see you next year, right? To lead you to Radio 3 as well. All right, let's so with this week specifically, and it's also better for me, and obviously better for you to kind of end a particular subsection. So our sub focus right now is collaborating with other media. We did already lesson one of three. We're going to do two of three and three of three as well, looking at earned and paid for media and how that actually works. So that is from your textbook, Next Level Radio, chapter 6.6.5, 6.5, right? And it's specifically 5.1, 231, page 231 to 232, right? A small little exercise at the end of this very short lesson, but I've got two videos that I am going to play out and then we're going to discuss. So, just some possibilities of how earned media, which is again still free media, but a little bit of I'm going to say a little bit of effort really, because when I say extra effort, you want to obviously extend your media to other people that want to collaborate with you. Ideally, obviously, also there's the situation where your pieces of content, your content in general is great, and other people notice it and want to use it as well, and will share it, within, let's say, or on their platforms, within their context or whatever it is to their audience. So that reach grows for you, which is really important as well. Again, we can always discuss as to how we can go around in circles, I think is just genuinely the answer I'm looking for. This morning I was, as I normally do, I just go look at past videos that I've also created on YouTube or Reels or whatever it may be. I always go and revise certain content, just because I want to see whether or not I'm on the same train of thought. Um, Comparatively, this particular past weekend, I was at Comic Con and I spoke about VOD and podcasting for brands. And my train of thought always is about how to construct your brand particularly and your content, to be usable at the end of the day, but it's got to be of high quality and that's and obviously relevant to your particular audience in whatever kind of way. And my message still stays the same. So how does it relate back to what it is that we're talking about today? Well, it's good and all to get. We need to get. It's one of those things. I'm gonna go around. I'm gonna eventually spit it out of my mouth. You do need you do need some kind of traction in terms of followers. You do need traction in terms of engagement, and that is just one of the way that we have to measure, again, kind of the success, I would suppose, or maybe the rating or the ranking of what it is that you currently are doing. But at the end of the day, like here specifically with earned media, like this is where I'm saying quality actually counts, right? So it's not that anyone and everyone will always be able to somehow see your posts or see your content that you are creating, and then want to share it, whatever it is, because there is just an endless, I say infinite galaxy of oceans of content that people will come across, particularly, in other words, they won't come across yours, but when they do, they might feel the need to obviously share that once again. I do again stress the importance of when you are looking at your media that you do create on different platforms as well. And ideally, obviously, as we always hear me say, on your landing pages, your site pages, your brand pages, etc. The analytics and the analysis of that, the post analysis of whatever it is that you are creating at any one particular point is really important for you to say, okay, I'm doing this. I'm doing this obviously with a professional eye or professional perspective, and I do know exactly how to kind of utilize the outputs of those analytics, and create content according to that. Like have a way forward. All right, with me not carrying on in terms of like further more than that. Let me just move to the first slide here. We are going to look at two videos in specific, because today we're going to look at earned media, as you've seen in the first slide there. The two videos, one obviously to explain it. I am obviously going to explain it here, but the other one is obviously you would like to see some examples of how earned media looks or whatever it may be, right? So with digital integration into our medium, our core medium is still radio. It'll always be radio. It's a traditional platform. It's a legacy platform. And you know that, right? But any business, right, has a number of digital and social media tools and platforms available to them to be able to use. And within the context of who obviously runs that, we have our digital strategists that now has become obviously a commonplace job or position within a radio station. So there might be a little bit more of an extended team that might segue over, or it might overlap with your marketing and your PR, etc., etc. So there might be a person that will do two jobs at one or whatever it is, and definitely, obviously, it requires not a mandatory right investment from programming as well, so that your DJs, your producers, whatever it may be, can create content for you as the voices and the faces of the brand, etc. Right? And we did also explain that before, the importance that these platforms and this particular extension now of the legacy core platform of radio is really important to our clients at the end of the day, to be able to again monetize what it is that we are sharing out there. Once again, just in terms of that monetization, this is one of the places I'm saying in terms of like industries in general, in the workplace in general, in the I say the work universe, maybe that'll make a little bit more sense, where I'm saying people make money off digital extensions, right? As opposed to kind of, it's a bit of a dream that's being sold, where you individually can make money of social media extensions to your brand, right? But let me not rehash my entire repertoire that I did at Comic Con around monetization. We can always talk about that at a later stage, right? So, radio stations also use media platforms to communicate with audiences and to obviously build up brand loyalty communities made up of people connected to the work that they are actually currently doing, that we are currently doing, creating and obviously sharing that particular content. Now, there is obviously there'll always be judgment there. I can agree with that, and I say that with my hands kind of in the air, because it's not that I mean, again, the DJs they are creatives. For example, let's look at the front end of what it is that you are creating, as opposed to the more strategic side, where you see obviously sales, marketing, PR, and then those middle management departments obviously having a hand in, with their hands in with what comes out in terms of, again, a deliverable and a piece, like, yeah. So looking at the DJs, I mean, there is certain limitations to our, I say, creativity when it does come to, let's say, social media, and sometimes we do hit us. Most of the times, I say half and half. Let's just go for 50-50, right? Sometimes the stuff that we post out on social media is great content, right? It's great content, and sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's like meh, it is whatever. It is what it is. It's basically just a photo with a little bit of a caption, a couple of hashtags, and it is what it is, driving on the piggyback of what the radio station's actual, obviously, listenership and their followership online is what's driving any kind of like actual line of sight awareness to what it is that we post. So what I'm trying to say is that you can go and judge. You should go and judge us. I'm saying the creatives that do go and post to social media. And we don't always, like I say, we don't always put the greatest stuff out there, but we put something at the end of the day. And it's not exactly our line of I say in terms of our top down approach at the very top. What is expected of us to be very good presenters, great presenters doing great shows on radio, right? And then obviously as a subcategory part of podcast, and then as a subcategory on social media, etc., 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 etc. Right? Um, so we do not profess, no DJ should ever profess to be an expert like content creator digitally, right? But should profess to be one online. So it is part of what we are expected, right? So you'll join a radio station, you'll see that DJs are part of any radio station, community, commercial, PBS, whatever it is, and then say, and the program manager, director, station manager will say to you, like, you have to promote your own stuff, and a lot of it, when it is attached, obviously, to the brand directly, must go through obviously the digital department, right? Okay. And then there is, like, again, a process chain. And in terms of that, like, we've got to do our best. We've got to find our way around. And so what I'm saying to you at the end of that is really try to experiment and push with as many different types of ideas, that as much as you do have ideas in terms of the creative side for your on-air shows, you should be able to also extend that bit of like larger thinking, that big picture thinking, out of the box thinking, to what it is that you do want to post on social media, and you do come to create over there, right? Again, one of those things that at the end, again, to have earned media today, we know that brands are going to share our stuff if we have some kind of collaboration with them, right? But to also put some effort into now and again, I say now and again, across your digital calendar and across whatever is being reflected post, pre, and on production in terms of your show as well. Do try your best to always put something cool and interesting, at least, and definitely something that has a lot of personality, information, education, that type of stuff, entertainment in there as well. Okay. So the image on the next slide shows or lists the type of digital media that a radio station might use or does use from an owned, earned, and a paid for perspective. Right. So let's look at that. The owned digital media, websites, microsites, blog sites. I know that we have covered this before, but let's have a look again. Right. So again, that's obviously what we should be doing, we are doing, we do, and we will continue using owned digital media. It is the core of what it is that makes earned and paid digital media possible, right? Mobile sites and applications. Let me go across so that actually makes a little bit more sense. So left to right. So let's go own media again. Websites, microsites, and blog sites, right? That we can turn into earned digital media, right? Or is turned into earned digital media with comment sections of owned digital media spaces. Already when people comment, that obviously raises your possibility of being rotated within a person's news feed in terms of an algorithm. The more the comments, the more interactions, again, the more the sharing, 10 to 1, again, your particular piece of content will be then viewed more likely, right? Okay. Excuse me, the paid digital media side of that. So, for example, if we want to go and promote a website like a landing page or a microsite or a blog piece, whatever it is, we then go and go pay for some space on digital media, like whichever it is. Ideally, Facebook, Instagram are tied in, so it always is the most cost-effective one, but also I would say the most effective one because we expect adverts there, right? Okay, display adverts, banners, campaigns, etc. And it is, I mean, you're getting a 2-for-1 deal there as well. You could decide try, like I say, YouTube, which is almost a ridiculous notion. For me, I think it's just a ridiculous notion. You might attempt TikTok, true. Like TikTok is fine. You can pay for it there, and then obviously once you do pay for media, there you have different obviously features that are available to you to make the most of that particular post, but because of the nature, so again, that kind of behavior that people go and consume and also gravitate through and use the TikTok platform, it tend to almost 0.00001 is going to be lost. Okay, I'm saying in translation. So for example, again, like I say, you pay for a campaign there on Facebook and Instagram, and then you do the analysis, like Facebook business and Instagram, it's because it's one. Right? So I'm just going to use the Facebook business account where you can go and see the analytics. It's called Meta. I think it's called Meta Business. I think it is that, so that it isn't clumped under Facebook, right? But you use the Facebook portal just to log in or whatever it may be, right? Anyway, so there again, I praise this because I've seen how extensive like I say, the process is, and obviously the tools that are available to you, and the way that it helps you out, and the way that the AI does help you out as well. To be able to create those campaigns, it's beautiful, it's nice, it really is impressive. And again, for that, I say it's not I say not aimed at a business. So in other words, that there's something that you can get confused and lost in translation, and there are obviously I say helpful tips along the way, or whatever it is, and guidelines and how to do this and how to do this, or what's recommended or whatever. And so, as I said, very great place to see like a cost per click campaign, whether that was worth it, whether that was your KPI or that was your output or your intention. Doesn't matter. There was many things you could do. Like I said, lead generation in that we could just do awareness, whatever it may be, right? Or drive them directly out, like I say, like out of there and into a different call to action, right? Or we could develop a survey, etc., etc., etc. All right. Let me not carry on too long. Mobile sites and applications, right? So a station that can afford a mobile site should also have a really good purpose or intention or a reason for creating one, right? Because we're not going to download. We know ourselves how quickly we download a mobile app, right? And then delete it because there's just only one thing that might irritate us, and one of those things might be like uselessness, right? So if it's just a mobile site, a mobile app that streams the station with a couple of DJ profiles, like no one cares, like, genuinely no one cares for that, because you can just go to your actual radio embedded, like it's your integrated app. And when you put your earphones on, it's got old school style, or you just go to a radio app that has all the radio stations. Just go stream it over there. We're not going to go for and download a mobile app that takes up space, whatever it is, particularly just so it can show us an about. Okay. Uh, um, and that even goes an extension to, let's say, different avenues of that particular site. So, for example, let's say you've got obviously like your I would say your landing page, or anyway, your landing page for your mobile site, but then it's got streaming service, it's got podcasts, it's got profiles, it's got, obviously it's got its integrated advertising, whatever it may be, right? And then maybe like obviously a section for news, updated news. It's still not enough. Like this application, this little web application. I keep saying the web application, but anyway, let me just say application, right? From now on. So this little app needs to do a lot more. It's going to need a lot more value for me. So stuff, for example, like only available content, like premium content that is available only on the application. Anything that we can only, like we can say is very specific, unique, and purposeful for this particular application only will be a reason why anyone and everyone would want to maybe consider downloading it, and that should be your I say your point of sales, or like your pitch to sales, whatever it is, right? For any person that might be considered a user from then onwards. But we can also use downloads and subscribers in terms of that, because you can download, you can log in, which makes you an automatic subscriber. We use that data as a way to be able to contact, email you, build obviously those push notifications if obviously the person will allow for it, etc. Right? And then now you're part of the system, right? So that is one way of doing that. We can also sell that. We can sell that information and share that to our clients as well. So because according to the Poppy Act, I mean, you must say yes, 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 yes to these things that we just want to log into and use as applications. Very few applications, right, that are I say useful in a larger context. So not something that, let's say, only does like it teaches you like Sesutu or whatever it is, a dictionary or whatever, like a little dictionary. Those things are not what we call. I'm not referring to those things, those particular apps. I'm talking like an app that has like a little baby ecosystem. We are looking at you immediately know, like you're going to be asked to log in with your Google or your Facebook, or your the other one would be your it's normally, yeah, you can even go with your LinkedIn, or you'll create an account for yourself. Anyway, so earn digital media from that. Station and client brand mentions in any types, station and client brand mentions in any type of digital media. And then paid wise, so we want to promote this, sponsored and promoted posts, retargeting strategies. As I said there, it'll obviously include every like because this is what when a client pays you for like let's say like an activation or whatever it may be, you're going to automatically put them one on air, you're going to put them on online in terms of the social media aspect, and one now here we're going to have, let's say, in the application itself as well. So there's a lot of possibility for them to get obviously noticed and have some traction there as well. Okay, owned digital media, social media pages and platforms including Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and LinkedIn, and including now obviously TikTok, because I mean the book was just this particular reference 2019, so we know that back then. One obviously Twitter was called Twitter, and TikTok wasn't really a thing back then, right? But we know now, right? Which platforms are more prominent. Okay, earn digital media, post shares, recommendations, mentions, reposts, reviews, and then paid digital media. We would then go and pay an influencer to go and be a brand ambassador, brand partnerships, etc. Okay, all right, okay. Um, so, shall we? Okay, no, let me rather do this, and then we'll do the two videos, and then we'll look at the activity. Okay. So, digital media is the online equivalent of word of mouth, right? Because what you see from people that you do, and this is not true. I mean, not fully true. Like, you don't believe everything and anything that just because you're friends with or you follow this person, whatever it is that they're going to share. But the predominant amount, if you here's where it does come into play. When you do see a number of people, like two or three or four or five, you see a bit of a pattern sharing the same type of content, or the same content piece, or you've somehow roped them into being able to ad tag themselves, then share the post to their story, etc., etc. And that's going to see a bit of a trend. People are going to be believing they'll definitely believe what they see as something that's dependable or truthful or whatever it may be, right? Something that they're gonna that might be interested to say this is a brand, and I'm just going to quickly have a look at and might invest in, right? I'm saying invest my time and effort. So but word of mouth. if we look at the traditional way of, let's say, word of mouth, well, who are you going to trust, right? Like I'm saying, if someone's going to, is it your mom? Is it a work partner? Is it a best friend? Is it a friend? Is it someone that you talk to quite regularly, just in terms of like someone that you might see in a commute or whatever it may be, right? This is where word of mouth traditionally would be something that would be effective, right? As influencing the next and next and next person, right? So we look at that digital equivalent, right? Reflection or reflection, right? Online, from the client's perspective, social media provides a transparent space to run promotions and invite input from listeners. Okay. Once again, I've given you a number of examples that we can actually go and do, with surveys, etc. But we can do competitions, as you know, we do entry mechanisms for that. We can, again, lead generation, or just like I say, sharing, ad tagging, following, whatever it may be, right? Okay, because you can win yourself like a ticket to this, or two tickets to this, or like a lounge suite, or an experience, right? Social media use is obviously growing. And obviously we don't want to look at old statistics. We'll just say that it is continuously growing. It will continue to grow to who knows. I don't even know. I'm not going to be that person that because it's a statistic that is so volatile and it's changing so quickly, that we can't look at it right now and say, okay, this is going to be even like a projection for where social media might be next year in 2025 or in 2030, right? And where anything else might not be, right? So the average South African has, and this again is a stat from Business Tech in 2019. So please take it with a contextual pinch of salt, has 8 social media accounts and spends almost 3 hours per day looking at their feeds and scrolling through their content. So, again, just to kind of like hashtag share, with what it is that I'm currently looking at. I'm looking at this. You must actually go look at it. Sidebar, right? It's called Social Studies, right? Where it's a documentary. It obviously is super interesting for me. I love documentaries, but it focuses on specifically teens and, let's say, people like people in your age bracket. So let's say 18 to about 20, about 22 or so, really early years in their tertiary studies, etc. Right? That spend, I mean, because of the back end of COVID, right, and that behavior that was imprinted on young people, where it just like it escalated out of the out of just past the heavens and the skies above, right? I was watching one episode yesterday where because what they do, let me just say, they go and they follow a number of these young people and their dependency impact, and obviously I say impact on their mindset, their behaviors, their et cetera, et cetera. It's again called social studies, right? Of their private lives, their public lives, their personal interaction, their personal ability, their capacities, etc. Right? Of how much time they spend on their phone. They would spend up to, no jokes, 8 to 10 hours a day, right? And obviously the one person reflects a sample set or whatever it is, a sample of a greater population or a greater percentage of young people that do spend many more hours than the average person, which does actually spend about, let's say, three hours a day on, I'm saying currently in 2024, right, on social media. And just to go and see, man, in terms of like behavior and truths, like when I saw that, I was like, wow, man. No judgment. Again, I can absolutely, I we can all attest to how social media just just chews up large portions of our day. Um, in ways that could be almost considered useless, like the amount of time we just been scrolling, not even posting anything. Um, okay, sorry, I've just got a bit of a snot issue again. as usual. All right. Anyway, this means that the social media is becoming obviously that social media, not the social media. Sorry, it sounds like an old person saying that. That the social media is becoming increasingly important for reaching consumers, right? So social media allows businesses and brands to observe and monitor consumer behavior, obviously, as we've discussed before, change, obviously, learn about the changing habits, interests, priorities, adapt, and allows us to adapt marketing approaches to suit the trends, and which is exactly what I'm saying with the analytics, right? So before we go and have a look at this particular example in your book, I'm going to stop the share. I'm going to just quickly go to the videos, right? We'll just first look at the one that does explain first. Right, in a second. Yeah. And then we'll look at the examples as you come.
Earned media value, or be a highly valuable metric for measuring the return on your marketing effort. You quantify your exposure and calculate the value you are creating with your posts. However, it's not always easy to understand and implement in your marketing strategy. In this video, we'll explain what earned media value is, how you calculate it, and why it's such a crucial performance indicator. Let's get started. First, how can we define earned media value? Earned media value is an influencer marketing KPI used to measure the value that your campaigns generate. It takes into account the number of social interactions on your post, including social media likes and comments. Earned media value is an essential metric for identifying how effective your influencer campaigns are. It can help you identify what's working well and what you need to improve in order to better connect with your target audience and boost awareness for your brand. Essentially, it helps you quantify how much of your reaction you are getting from each of your campaigns so that you can calculate the value and ROI of your influencer marketing efforts. Think of it as a formula for calculating the monetary value of the exposure your campaigns generate. In other words, the ROI you can expect to receive as a direct result of your campaigns. You can also use earned media value to determine the impact a specific influencer might generate for your brand. For example, if you're comparing two similar influencer profiles and see that one has a higher earned media value, this means that their posts might elicit more of a response from your target audience. This can help you pick an influencer that meets your campaign expectations. And how can we calculate our earned media value? There are a few ways to calculate your earned media value depending on your campaign objectives, content type, and communication channels. The most common approach involves multiplying the total number of impressions that a campaign generates by the average cost for every 1,000 impressions, CPM, then multiplying this figure by your adjustment variable. The formula is as follows. EMV equals impressions times CPM times adjustment variable. Let's break this down so that it's clearer. Impressions, this is the number of people who see your campaign. For example, in the case of Instagram, it's the number of times it appears in your user newsfeed. Every time someone sees your post, it's counted as an impression. This data is available in an influencer's private post insights, which they can share with you to make this calculation easier. Cost per mille, or thousands, CPM, this is the monetary amount you spend on your campaign for every 1,000 impressions. The formula for calculating it is 1,000 times cost divided by total impressions. For example, if you have 10,000 total impressions and you invest $20 in your ad, your CPM is 1,000 times $20 divided by 10,000, equaling $2 for every 1,000 impressions. Adjustment variable. This is the tricky part. Your adjustment variable is how you measure the success of your campaign. This figure will vary according to the objectives of each campaign that you launch. In other words, it could feasibly be anything. For example, if your objective is to generate interactions, that is likes, comments on your post, and you achieve 20 interactions out of your 10,000 impressions, then your adjustment variable could be 20. Let's bring all this information together now, and we'll go back to our original formula. We'll do an example together. If, for example, you launch a campaign that achieves 10,000 impressions and costs you $2 for every 1,000 impressions, and your adjustment variable is 20, then your calculation would be as follows. 10,000 times 2 times 20 equals an EMV of $400,000. Keep in mind that although EMV is expressed as a dollar value, it doesn't represent real-world dollars that you are going to get from an actual influencer. Think of it more as a benchmark that you can use to compare the value of one influencer to another to see who can generate the biggest impact. But why is earned media value a key indicator? Let's finish by looking at a few specific benefits of tracking this metric. It helps you determine how effective your marketing strategy is and the impact it is having on your business in terms of value and influencer marketing ROI. It can give you the insight you need to increase your brand credibility and grow your audience. If you focus on engagement, the right strategy adjustments can help you generate more leads and form more meaningful connections with your audience. It can help you build a data-driven approach to your influencer marketing strategy. Earned media value is a highly effective measure of the value that an influencer could potentially create for your brand, especially compared to more traditional ROI calculations such as click-throughs and conversions. This can help you determine which influencer out of a short list can launch a more successful campaign. And by picking the best person for the job, you can boost brand awareness and increase your chance of hitting your market objectives. If you want to learn more about essential metrics on influencer marketing, click on the video that appears on the screen, or click on this other video to find out how to calculate the ROI.
Yeah, he's really good. I mean, that was really cool. I didn't even know about that EMV, which is super interesting. Well, it's cool. So I'm gonna actually make sure that I check and also include some of these particular videos in the next one before we move on. So that's pretty cool. Okay, that's okay. Let's look at the examples. You can see I'm so impressed. It really was cool. It's interesting. Anyway, just get that ad going. All right, so let's look at some examples.
Do you feel like you have exhausted your audience? Maybe you've sent so many emails to your email list. Maybe you keep posting on social media, but you're not seeing a lot of traction. Well, don't worry, because in this video, I'm going to show you how to get in front of another audience, exposure to a whole new group of people, and I'm going to show you how to do this without spending a dime on advertising. But first, please subscribe to this channel. Make sure you hit the bell to get a notification every time I post a new video, which is every single Thursday. Now get ready, because I'm going to show you some earned media examples and how you can get some too. You need to grow your following to continue to grow your business. It is a must, whether your business is big or small. You always need to be growing a following with new people, right? In this video, I am going to go deep on one earned media example and show you the specifics from start to finish of how I helped one of my media mentoring clients earn exposure, a 5-minute live segment on local TV in San Diego that snowballed into a whole lot more media coverage. But we're going to talk about that first media hit that she earned and how you can do it too. We are going to break this down into 5 steps. The first step was really looking at her goal. And this was her goal. Crystal is a dietitian and a blogger, and she wanted to reach more local moms in the San Diego area. So based on that goal, we looked at where she needed to be. We looked at what local moms were reading, what they were watching, and what they were listening to. And that's how we decided on morning TV. And I'm sure you have some of these media goals for yourself already in mind. I want you to let me know what your one big goal is in the comments. I think the most popular that I get from people are the Today Show and Oprah Magazine. Those are huge. Those are really big goals. They're probably the most popular. I hear them all the time. So let me know in the comments if that's yours. And if it is, that's fine. That's a great goal. But where would you want to be? What big media outlet do you think it would just make it for you and your business? Let me know what it is in the comments now. Okay, so we found our goal, which was step 1. That determined our target, which was step 2. Now, step 3 is actually writing the pitch. And this is something that a lot of people struggle with. Remember, I was a TV reporter and anchor for 10 years. I received a lot of pitches. 9 out of 10 of them were terrible. So I am going to break down for you how we wrote Crystal's pitch to actually land coverage. And if you want to see that pitch word for word, make sure you jump into my 3-day media class, because I copy it word for word. So you can take it, swipe it, and make it your own to start getting media coverage for yourself. And you can get that at MediaMavenandMore.com/publicity. I've also put a link to it in the description below. But to sum up her pitch quickly, it included a lot of things. The biggest factor was timeliness. When we pitched the media, we wanted to give them a reason to do the story now. Remember, she was a dietitian, and we did this story around September. It was August, September-ish, so it was back to school time. So we went with the angle, things to pack in your kid's lunchbox that they will actually eat. Because she's a mother who knows that many times you send your kids to school with a lunchbox and they come home and they haven't eaten anything, especially if they're a picky eater. So she was solving this problem on the local news morning show. So we wanted to make sure that it was timeliness. If they saw it was a back to school angle, they would have to jump on that story and do it now. And then did you also notice that the story wasn't about her? I think this is the biggest mistake that people make when they pitch the media. They want to make the story all about them. It wasn't about Crystal at all. It was about her expertise. And if you want to find out more about how using your expertise instead of your service or your product to see an ROI, make sure you check out a previous video that I did about this using LinkedIn specifically. I will also link to that in the description for this video. Okay, so now we've got the pitch. The next step, step 4, is to execute the media hit. They said yes, so now we need to execute the media hit. Because this is TV, we needed to be visual. So I made sure that Crystal was all set to go with everything spread out on the table to showcase what you're gonna put in the lunchbox. You wanna make it entertaining and you wanna make it fun. She made it bright and colorful and did a walk and talk, and she was picking things up and interacting with the anchor. So she executed the media hit perfectly. She gave the producers everything that they needed on a silver platter. And lastly, step 5, and this is the step that everybody forgets. You have to do PR on your PR. Too many times people just assume that everybody was watching the local news and everybody saw it. That is not true. So what we did with Crystal is we took that segment and we promoted it all over her social media. Again, this is something that I talk about in a previous video about how to promote yourself on LinkedIn to increase sales. So that's what we did. We used her media hit to promote her expertise to increase sales, and it did. That TV segment turned into brand deals for her as a blogger and a local influencer because now she was getting TV time. And it also turned into her getting other TV segments on other stations in the San Diego area. In fact, she had to reschedule a media mentoring call with me because she booked a TV segment, and she's getting approached by so many stations that she actually has to turn some of them down, which is a good problem to have. Again, to see that exact pitch that Crystal used to land that first TV segment on morning TV in San Diego, a top 30 market, make sure you join my free 3-day media class at MediaMavenandMore.com/publicity because it is included in there. You will learn how to pitch the media to get publicity and turn it into profit. Again, that is linked in the description below. And if you like this video, please let me know by giving it a subscribing, where you will see videos like this one every Thursday. And again, please don't forget to let me know in the comments what your big media goal.
Okay. It was a little snippet. That's how it's done. I mean, look, she's like pitching, like you want to see the end of this video or the points that she's making. At any one particular point, this woman is shamelessly pitching. Good for her. All right, as you can see, there's just an endless amount of obviously examples that we can look at. Strategic communication. I love that. Okay, I'm definitely going to watch that a bit later. Okay, so anyway, let me just go there. I'm just going to close up here. Let's turn books in the meantime. Just take that off there. Stop the share. All right, let's just go back to the slide. Just click here. Okay, all right. So let's move this here. Okay, so it's sorry, yeah, I don't think you can actually see this, but just trying to move this controller. Okay, all right, let's look at example 6D, page 233. 233. All right, which is literally the example we looked at last time. So I'm not going to go through it again, just to kind of review as to what it is, in terms of earned media alone. So earned media, for example, in this Oakfield, sorry, not Oakfield, that's something that's here, oakleaf.com is, for example, some earned media. For me, in terms of who Thumbprint went and put in their stuff there. If you click on Thumbprint, like that's earned media in a sense, right? But more so, I think it's the best uh, the best example. I mean, it's an example, not the best one, right? And then let me just go down to the bottom here. I just want to show you that you'd have to answer activity 6B on page 235. So only earned media section. In other words, there's a second question that says match the following media types in column A with the correct examples in column B. And then there are three examples, obviously owned, earned, and paid media. You don't know what paid media is completely just yet. We covered owned media. The three obviously options are listener tweeting that they love the song playing right now on KFM. The second one is a sponsored Instagram post promoting a clothing competition that Metro FM is running. And three, a radio station uploading a video of their breakfast show team competing in the charity or in a charity challenge on their YouTube channel, right? Okay, and then so I think that's really easy, right? But that's fine, just as long as you start to understand and get that correct. All happiness, right? Number three says there, just to kind of like throw forward to that, consider the following fictional scenario: DJ Dizzy is a presenter on a radio station and a well-known television personality, DJ, and music producer. Now, he's also active on Twitter or X. Explain under what circumstances DJ Dizzy's tweets could be regarded as paid media, earned media, and owned media. So I'm going to just go off the back of my like fly off the back of my hand, yo, whatever that idiom is. You know, I've said this before. Oh, I will never get idioms correct, right? So for example, he's okay because he's a presenter on a radio station and he's got another platform as a personality on TV. Own media, definitely things like, for example, his own, like let's say, live streams, IG lives, TikTok lives, etc., but also he can be creating content around, little snapshots that he might be snapshots of him on TV. And that is like own media. So when he does cover, for example, something that's very interesting, as a TV personality, and he's also a music producer. Sorry, this is a good one for music as a music producer. So shares like a piece that he's working on, a track that he's working on. Then other people will share that too. Or, for example, people that like production companies or people that are music moguls, whatever, might also share that particular content because it's in line with their own brand and their own product and service, right? And they might be also partnering up with him in terms of like paid for media, right? So he will do like a little bit of a collaboration. Would like to say like he wants to collaborate with Sony. Sony agrees to it, whatever it may be, right? And together, Sony and him will take out a sponsored piece in any one particular context, right? That would let's say promote his debut album or his, like that, because that's a product, right? For example, let's say he's going to be performing at a certain club or a certain event or at their event, let's say at a radio station's event, or that radio station that he works for. I can keep going on, right? Would advertise that, ticket sales, etc., and that would be for paid for media. Okay, I think it's only fair just because the example's so thin. This particular one here is so thin. We have covered it before. Just have a look at this. Let me just quickly just select this over here, copy. I'm just going to put that into this over here. I'll go to it, stop the share, and just jump on back to, where did I go? Yeah, here we go. All right. I just have a quick look at this article that was written here. What is earned media, and paid for media? The difference is explained again, just to not be. So this is something that we've seen before, but let's have it's a good infographic, right? to explain. Once again, we're right over here in terms of earned media, right? Owned media, we start off there, gain more exposure to web properties with SEO, so your search engine optimization. This is pay per clicks as well. Web properties, website, mobile sites, blog sites, social media, etc., etc. When obviously overlaps your SEO and brand content drive earned media sharing and trafficking, the more obviously like your piece will pop up in terms of searches, etc. Right, that which is search engine optimization would encourage obviously like a projection of mentioned shares, repost, reviews, and so on and so forth, right? In terms of owned media, we can then turn that into paid media over here, leveraging owned, earned, and paid media for comprehensive marketing strategies. Advertising, pay-per-clicks, display ads, retargeting, paid influencers, paid content promotions, social media ads, etc., etc., etc. So I'm not going to go, obviously, I'm not going to go through this because literally we're going through that in the classes. Go make sure, should I say, for yourself, just have an extra read through. But if you're more of a visual person like I am, watch some more and some more and some more video content anywhere and everywhere. I'm going to stop the recording right there. I'll see you in the next lesson.